Israel may strike Iran before the end of the year. According to reports, and this is very dramatic recent news, Israel is in fact preparing right now for another war with Iran. Shalom from Israel. I'm Hanani Naftali with the latest update from the Middle East. Iran's top military advisor literally said last week, "We are not in a ceasefire, we are in a stage of war." The Foreign Policy magazine estimates, and I quote, "Israel is likely to launch another war with Iran before December," meaning before the end of 2025. So let me tell you what this is all about, all the news, because this is very, very dramatic. Back in June, Israel launched a preemptive strike on Iran. And let me be clear, it wasn't because Israel wanted war. It was because the Islamic regime in Iran was racing toward nuclear weapons and building a missile arsenal that could overwhelm us. I mean, time and time again, the Iranians said, "We want the destruction of Israel. We promised that." They had a clock showing when will Israel be destroyed. So obviously they didn't advance their nuclear program because they wanted peace. We all know that. You need to be a fool to believe that the Iranians only wanted atomic bomb for peace. It doesn't work that way. So Israel destroyed their nuclear facilities, killed almost all of the Iranian military commanders, eliminated nuclear scientists, and even injured the Iranian president in one of the strikes. Just think about it. The Israeli Air Force literally dominated the skies of Tehran, of Iran. And Iran is a country that's over 1,000 kilometers away from Israel. So Israel did a very, very great intelligence, great job. We targeted missile factories, not markets, because that's what a moral army does. That's what Israel does. We didn't want any civilians to get hurt. But on the other hand, what did Iran's regime do in return? They did what they always do. They turned their entire country into a human shield. They fired ballistic missiles at our cities from within their cities. They struck at American bases, and they just continued to spread terror. But before we continue, I invite you to support local businesses in Israel by shopping on the IsraelStore.com. Let's send a message to every Israel hater out there that we are not going anywhere. So you would think, right, that after a strike that powerful, after the Israeli army literally dominated the skies of Iran, they would reconsider. You know, they would think, you would think that the Islamic regime would finally ask, "Hey, is this worth it?" But no, they didn't slow down. They didn't stop. They doubled down. Iran is rebuilding its missile stockpiles. It's restoring its nuclear facilities. It's preparing right now for the next war, not avoiding it. They don't care about their own people. They use them as human shields. They don't care about rebuilding their economy. They care about building bombs. Iranian generals now openly say, next time, we will show no restraint, as if they did. Think about that. They're admitting their plan to go harder, faster, and bloodier. You can't reason with a regime that values death more than life. The only language they understand is strength. Prime Minister Netanyahu said something that didn't receive much reporting, but I think is critical to this, to understanding and to Israel's decision-making on whether or not there will be another war with Iran very soon. He said that Iran's nuclear program has been pushed back significantly, but not destroyed. And then he said, on this interview he did, Iran, currently have 400 kilograms of enriched uranium. We knew ahead of time that the uranium itself would not be hit, but that's not enough to build a bomb. Let me explain what that means in simple terms. Iran still has the material. They still have the motivation, and now they're working hard to get back the capability. That's why Netanyahu also said, we're tracking this with 7 eyes and we're ready. That's not just talk. In Israel, when a prime minister says we are ready, that means plans are already in motion. So, if we're honest, there is no ceasefire. Just like the top Iranian military advisor said, that we are in a stage of war. And that's exactly how they're acting. They're not solving the water crisis in Iran. Did you know that I'm talking to friends of mine in Iran, and they're telling me that they have hours with no electricity? Many Iranians don't have access to water. There's water scarcity. Israel is willing to solve it, like Prime Minister Netanyahu said. But the regime, they don't want to solve the water crisis in Iran. They're rebuilding missile launchers instead. They're not feeding their people. They're feeding their hatred. And you know what that means? It means that they're planning a bigger, faster, bloodier retaliation than before. And they've already admitted that the next war might be their final war. That's their language, not mine. So with that being said, right, let's ask the question that actually matters. What is Israel supposed to do? What if this was your country? Should your country wait? Sit back while Iran builds new missiles, new nuclear centrifuges, new terror networks from Syria to Gaza to Lebanon? No. That's how you end up with a second Holocaust. And we vow to never again allow such a thing to happen. Israel cannot wait for another October 7th. We will not wait until a nuclear missile is launched at Tel Aviv. We will strike first, if we have to, again, and we won't apologize for surviving. But let me be clear. We don't want war. But when a regime openly says that their mission is to destroy the Jewish state, when they point thousands of missiles at us, when they enrich uranium to build nuclear bombs, what choice do we have? If the choice is between existence and annihilation, we choose existence every single time. So in June, Israel fought bravely, but it wasn't fighting alone. The West, especially America, stepped in with vital support with a magnificent B-2 bombers, missile interceptors, intelligence sharing, and precision strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. It all made a difference. That partnership saved lives and helped stop Iran from going even further. And that's exactly the point. When Israel stands strong, the whole free world benefits. Because Iran isn't only obsessed with Israel, it wants to control the Middle East, choke global trade routes, and spread its terror networks into Europe, Africa, and beyond. The way they look at the world is that if you don't think like us, if you don't accept our radical ideology, then we have a problem with you. That's why it matters that the West keeps standing shoulder to shoulder with Israel. This isn't just Israel's fight for survival. It's the frontline battle for stability, freedom, and security worldwide. Evil regimes don't stop at the neighbors they threaten first. So if Israel holds the line, the free world stays safer. And we also need to understand, because it's really deeper than that. This is not just a geopolitical conflict. I think it's spiritual, because the Islamic regime in Iran believes the Mahdi, their version of the messianic figure, will return after chaos and destruction. Their leaders believe that war is the path to redemption. Meanwhile, Israel restored the homeland of the Jewish people. We're living, breathing prophecy. We're defending the land of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the land where King David ruled, the land where the Bible is not just a book, but a reality. It says, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you in Genesis 12:3. This is not just about Israel's future. It's about which side you want to be on. This is the moment to stop being silent. And that's why I invite you guys to stick together. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I will keep bringing you the truth, especially in times like this where censorship is growing, where anti-everything voices are they sound too loud. And look, I live here, I see the truth, and I will not stay silent about it. And most of all, I ask you to pray, speak up, and be bold, because the next war might be coming, and the world better wake up before it's too late. I'm Hanania Naftali. Am Israel Chai. God bless you, and God bless